Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to DB Overland and welcome to another budget build series video. In this video, I'm going to talk about all of my camping equipment that I brought on our last trip out, and also what recovery gear I had on that trip. Also, in this video, we're going to talk about the upgrades that we did to the 4Runner. Yep, we did do some upgrades, so stick around. You're not going to want to miss this. So, our last video for the budget build series was our first trip, which we learned quite a bit in that trip. Got ourselves into a very sticky situation, and honestly, even with the best equipped vehicles out there, you know, the recovery could have gone a little bit differently, but that bentonite stuff is just, it's just super nasty stuff, no matter what vehicle you got. So we learned quite a bit from that experience, and then the rest of the trip was very enjoyable. I felt very comfortable in the vehicle, and it still allowed me to get off the beaten path and get into some really nice areas. And for my camping equipment, I had everything that I thought that I needed. I had pretty much the basics, and that's what the main focus of this video is going to be, is getting into the basics. If you're just starting overlanding, or you have been overlanding for quite some time, but you feel like you're just bringing way too much stuff and you need a direction to just start basic again, this video is for you. Now, everything that I'm going to show you today, I'm going to have it linked down in the description so you can actually go acquire it if you're starting out new, or again, if you just want to start with a blank slate again if you've been into overlanding. And I want to, now this is all equipment that I have used for many years, many years. And actually, the stuff that I brought for my first adventure, I borrowed that all from my camping equipment. Now, what I mean by that is, with this budget build, I told you guys that we're going to keep this around the 5K mark. That's, you know, outfitting the vehicle, building it up, things like that. Now, I just borrowed the equipment. I just took whatever I had already existing. Now, I want to purchase stuff for this vehicle, and only for this vehicle, to keep in that true fashion of a budget build, right? So, even going out for your very first time camping, borrow stuff from your buddies if they have already got stuff, because then you can kind of see where, you know, it's like, oh yeah, okay, they got a stove, they got this, they got this, they got that, they got that, and then you can kind of have an idea of what you need to bring. That way, you know, here's the kind of the thing too. You borrow stuff from your friends, you're not investing any money up front to go out. You're taking your vehicle that you daily drive, or you know, you're thinking of acquiring, or you have just acquired. You take it out on its first trip. If it doesn't work out for you, you don't really have any money invested, because you just borrowed the equipment from your friends or your parents or whatever, right? And as far as for the vehicle wise, depending on what situation you're in, you're not out there because it's either just your daily driver, or it's a vehicle that you are getting to daily drive, or whatever, you know, multiple reasons. So keep that in mind too. But I think it's time for me to pull out my camping equipment and show you guys what I brought along to help you guys pick out the basics to getting into overlanding. Now, this is just the basics. It may work for you, and you don't have to go fancier than that. But if you do want to go fancier, this is a start. This will get you going, and then you can upgrade down the road. Okay, let's talk about camping gear. Now this is everything. There's a few little doodads a little extra that I brought when I went camping. But all this right here is your basics. This is what's gonna allow you to get started and experience your first camping experience. So let's start off with the hot side, okay? And we're gonna first start off with a stove. Now, this guy right here is a single burner, self-igniting camping stove. It works pretty good. I've actually been using this stove, and I actually carry two of these because since it's only a single burner, this allows me to get my food started, and then also I can have another one lit for like coffee or hot water. So I usually always carry two of these, and they're awesome. They really are for what they are. You can usually pick them up for about 20 bucks. I've seen these even down at my local grocery store, and they were listed for $19.99. And where I live, it's a small town, so nothing's cheap. For the type of fuel that they take, it takes a butane bottle that I think looks like an aerosol can. And it's not bad. You can actually get quite a bit of cooking out of this. Now, if you're a 3-person or a 3-meal per day person, I want to say you could probably get 2 days to potentially 3 days out of one of these bottles. Now, that also depends on if you're camping in warmer weather or not. If you are camping in colder weather, you're gonna have 2 days minimum, because it's gonna take a lot of butane to heat up your hot water for coffee or anything like that. Now, these stoves are awesome, but there's two things that they kind of suffer, or they're not very good at. And one of them is cold weather. Cold weather, they are very slow cooking, and that is mainly because of the bottle, okay? The butane has to pass through this tiny stem right here, and when you cook with butane or propane, it'll actually freeze. The bottle gets very, very cold as it transfers the liquid from the bottle to the regulator. And if you're camping in cold weather, I've had these actually freeze up here in the stem, and then I have to go put it in the vehicle on my dash, turn the heat on, blast these with heat to thaw them out again, so then I could keep using them. So cold weather, not the best stove for that. Another thing is wind. Wind is a big downside to this, because there is no wind protection on this stove. Now, what I've done in the past with these stoves is they come in a really nice carrying case. Here's the carrying case that it comes in, and it's really nice. And then what I will do sometimes is I will actually set it up like this and use the case as a wind breaker, which works pretty well. But the only downside with that is then the inside of your case looks like mine, and it's got bacon grease all inside of it from, you know, that morning's breakfast. So that is the only downside with this stove. All right, so let's talk about cooking utensils. So I've tried stainless steel, I've tried non-stick, and I've tried so many different types of pans, and honestly, you just can't go wrong with cast iron. This cast iron, or maybe I carry 2 of them with me. Again, that if I got 2 stoves, I got 2 pans. That way I can, you know, speed up the cooking process. When you got 3 hungry boys wanting to eat, you try to whip out, you know, any meal as quickly as you can. So I'm just a big believer in cast iron. One, it's just so durable, and the beauty about cast iron is once you get it hot, it absorbs that heat and actually allows you to cook a little bit easier, especially in windy situations, and then also with the cold, that cast iron just holds that heat, and then you can actually turn down your flame quite a bit, and then I actually find it a little bit more efficient because of that. And you know, if you see that bear coming, you know, you can give it a good old whacking on the head. If you even can. I just throw the daggone thing and then hightail it out of there. But no, cast iron's great. The only downside with cast iron is you can't wash it with soapy water, because with cast iron you have to have a what is it? You basically have to seal it up with oil. The cast is very porous, and so you need to season it. That's what it is. So you season your pan, and seasoning is using an oil. Now, when I first got these cast irons, one of them I actually found out in the woods at an abandoned home site, and I took it home, wire brushed it really, really well, washed it, wire brushed it again, washed it, and did a little bit of light sanding, washed it again, and then I put a high temp oil in the pan, put it in the oven, and baked it for quite a while, you know, just to get that cast iron nice and hot. And then that allowed the oil to soak in to create your non-stick, and it turns out beautiful, and I still use it today. Absolutely. You know what? No, actually this is it. This is the one I found out in the woods, and it's a beautiful pan. It works so well. And now I like to I cook with butter a lot, and so because of so many different meals that I make, it requires butter, or I prefer to cook with butter, and that butter, that oil, soaks into that pan, and it creates a great flavor. It creates that non-stick. So with cast iron, you know, you can't wash it with soap. You can wash it with, basically you kind of scrub it with salt, and that'll get like the heavy particulars off of there. And the only other thing is weight. Cast irons, it's heavy. It is heavy. And with a vehicle, we think that we have so much payload, or we could just pretty much put whatever fits in there, right? Well, no, we can't. We have to be mindful of weight, and the cast iron doesn't really work for us in that way, I guess. But I would rather sacrifice the extra pound, I guess you'd say, compared to a stainless steel or an aluminum one, just because the robust of it, you know. And the thing is too, if my stove runs out of fuel or anything like that, you could go stick this in the fireplace, in your fire pit, and cook right off some hot coals. I'd be very hesitant to do that with a stainless steel one. It'd probably warp the snot out of it. And as like an aluminum one, forget it. It melted up. So cast iron, I feel like, is the way to go for all of my pans for cooking. All right, and now let's talk about water. So it's pretty interesting how I came across these. I always like to bring a kettle, and this kettle and my coffee pot, I both acquired them at a garage sale, and they're aluminum. They're built like back in the 70s when camping gear was like super awesome. You know, and I absolutely love it. I mean, I love the character of this coffee pot here, and they're lightweight. So you don't have to go and get the fanciest of the fanciest, you know. And that's another thing. It's like all this stuff right here, hit up garage sales. So you can find some of the best deals of camping stuff at garage sales. It's wonderful. Now, really, when it comes down to kettles, it really doesn't matter. You know, I have a family of 5, so I try to have a kettle that I know that I can do like 5. I can have enough water for like 5 things of like top ramen or instant noodle or anything like that. So just whatever kettle you decide you want to go with, just make sure it's big enough for you to where it can handle your family, or if you're a 2-3 cups of coffee in the morning type of guy, you know, give yourself enough water so then that way you don't have to go back and burn more energy to heat up more water. Give yourself something big enough that you can, you know, have a decent amount of water for dishes or whatever. Now for coffee, I've actually been looking for one of these for a super long time, and I'm so grateful that I finally found this guy. This is a percolator. This is a good old-fashioned percolator, and I absolutely love it. And so you've got your construction, you've got your main body of water, and then you put your coffee grounds in here. That slides down on that, and then you insert it into here. Now what it does is as the water boils, it goes up this tube, okay, and then it comes out in the top, and then it rains down onto the coffee. And then there's a whole bunch of screens that allow the coffee water to go back down, and it just keeps recirculating. Awesome little way to make coffee. This guy right here, this will allow for 2 people to have a really nice big cup of coffee. And I usually have one of those Yeti hot cold cups. You know, it's, I want to say it's probably this tall on my water bottle here, and my water bottle here is, why do they never make it easy to read how many ounces this is? This is 26 ounces. So I want to say, and probably like a 12-ounce cup is what my normal coffee cup is, and I can do 2 of those 12 ounces. So that's 24 ounces of coffee I can get with this guy. And honestly, this is really up to you on which way you like your coffee. For me, I just love the nature of a percolator. It's just, it fascinates me. It's so fun to watch the coffee splashing up against this little clear knob that they have on the top, so you can tell that it's percolating, and just the steam coming off of it. I just find a lot of joy and excitement, and I actually really enjoy watching this in the morning when I'm making coffee and getting ready for the day. So if you're an Insta coffee person or anything like that, this is all you need right here, right? Just your hot water. So it really just kind of depends on which way you like to go for your coffee. You don't have to really go with a percolator style. You can do hot water and a French press. There's so many different ways. I'm not a coffee expert, so I don't know the bajillion ways out there, but this just works for me. All right, now what do I do to eat off of? And honestly, it's pretty basic. I've just got this stack of 6 plates right here. They're plastic, lightweight, pretty durable. They were cheap. I think I actually bought all of them at Walmart for a pretty cheap price. Here in a minute, I'm going to show you 2 things that I did upgrade for the budget build that does involve in the kitchen. But honestly, plates, you don't have to go crazy. You don't have to go with aluminum. You don't have to go with the stainless. I mean, just get yourself some plastic ones, you know. They're pretty durable. You know, if you get bored, you can use them as a frisbee. Hey, worst case scenario, if you get yourself in a survival issue, you can burn them to stay warm. So yeah, nothing fancy with plates. Keep it basic, guys. Keep it simple. Just go with that. Now, I usually have, like, I've got a family of 5, so I've got 6 plates here, and 1 is usually used for serving. You know, after I get done cooking, I put food on the extra one. And then I've got some bowls. Now, you know, if you like cereal in the morning for breakfast, or if you are a soup person, nice cold day, or grilled cheese and tomato soup for lunch or dinner, ooh, give yourself some bowls. And you're probably wondering, well, why don't I have any cups? Well, for me and our family, we don't use cups. We just use our water bottles. And there's so many water bottles out there, guys. I'll just link what I use. This is a Yeti one, and actually this one was given to me. I didn't even buy this one, but I just prefer going this way because all of our boys have their own water bottle, and Mandy and I have our own water bottle, and it's just so much easier to maintain and keep responsibility of where's your water instead of going through the cups, washing them, and it's just so much simpler to just go this route. And it's worked out quite well for our family to just everybody having their own individual water bottle. And for cooking on the stove, I just got this fun little spatula here. Actually, this was a Christmas gift from my dad a long time ago. And honestly, get yourself a decent spatula. You know, this one's pretty cool. It's kind of a multi one. You've got a knife on this side, which isn't very sharp, but it was sharp at one point in time. You got a knife. You got a bottle opener right here. You've got some wavy, jaggy stuff over here. And also what's kind of cool, it's got a telescoping handle, so if you find yourself, oh, and it's kind of coming apart. See how old this thing is? If you find yourself cooking over a nice hot stove, you know, you can kind of get in there and do some cooking, flip your burgers or whatever. But I actually found out that, or I just found that it's a little bit more of a hassle, and I feel like that this thing's gonna bend and I'm gonna lose my dinner. So I just keep it short handled, and yeah, it's just fun to cook with, I guess, more or less. But get yourself a good one. Get yourself a nice stainless steel one. Don't go plastic because you'll melt it. Just a nice stainless steel spatula and you can't go wrong. And last but not least, silverware. So I have this tote here that I keep all of our silverware in. And honestly, I just got these plastic spoons and forks, and I think I did have plastic knives at one time, but I think I just threw them away. But I've got my regular knives in here. I've got some scissors. I've got a good old-fashioned can opener. I've got a big spoon for, you know, serving up like pastas or soups or something. Just a cheap stainless steel spoon, and yeah, that's pretty much it. There's a few little weird things that I've thrown in over the years, but yeah, and I guess I carry a thing of Pam for the for the pan. So yeah, just keep it basic, keep it simple. You can do all stainless steel, you can do all plastic. Honestly, the plastic I kind of don't recommend. It is lighter weight, but what I'm finding out is like some of the forks in here, they're getting like cut up from the knives and stuff when you eat a steak or whatnot, or the kids just get bored and they start cutting stuff that they're not supposed to, you know, that kind of thing. So actually, quite a bit of my utensils, my silverware, I'm actually going to be going through this and probably getting rid of a whole bunch of this. But honestly, everything in here I've been using for over 10 years. What's in here? And it's just been working. So there you go. There's the basics for cooking, kitchen. Now, I'll dig out something that's a little bit of an extra that I bring with me. Again, you don't have to have it if you're just getting started into overlanding and camping. But for me, I'm trying to experiment more with my cooking when I'm out, and so that's why I carry this extra unit. So I will dig that out real quick, and then I will show you guys our next the upgrades that I got to actually replace quite a bit of this. All right, so one of the things that I bring extra with me, and this is simply because I'm trying to push the boundaries of camp cooking. I'm no crazy chef by any means. It's just simply for fun, for enjoyment, and also it's fun to capture on camera too. I bring a Dutch oven. That is one of the extra things that I bring, and there's several different sizes. And the reason why I bring a Dutch oven is because they're very versatile. It's an oven, basically. A good friend of mine, he would make a dessert out of this, a peach cobbler, and it's turned out pretty daggone good. Also, if you like biscuits and gravy, you can warm up biscuits in here. There's bread, it gives you a great big giant thing for making soup. I even did a Mississippi pot roast in one of these. So that is why I bring this extra Dutch oven, just simply to just have more fun with camp cooking. All right, so this bag and this I'm very, very excited about. And what is this? This is basically everything that you need to cook with. You've got your spatula, large spoons, you got some tongs, you know, for cooking those prunes on the Barbie. I was even provided with a stainless steel knife. I mean, how awesome is that? Also, also in this kit, I mean, I've got scissors, I've got a bottle opener, I've got a potato peeler. It did come with some plastic cups. It also came with plates. Yeah, nice set of plates. In here are salt and pepper shakers. Glass though, I'm gonna have to keep these in this packaging, but you got two things for spice, you know, probably salt and pepper. The lids are not perforated, so more or less just for storage, I guess. And then also another really cool thing is this kit comes with a cutting board. So pretty much I have everything to cook with in this kit. Now, oh, did I forget something? Oh, I did forget something. Look at that. I was wondering why this cutting board was kind of funky getting in there. Also, what this kit came with, this is, oh, look at the packaging on this. How cute. Oh, how cool. I'm gonna have to, I just got this, so I really haven't had a chance to really scope it out. Utensils, stainless steel. And there's enough for 4 people. Each one of these little bags, you get a butter knife, a spoon, and a fork. How cool is that? I think that is really awesome. So, you have everything to cook and eat a meal with in this little bag here. I mean, how awesome is that, right? And it all simply packs up really nicely into this bag. I mean, really nicely. I mean, let's see here. I'll put the silverware on top of the plates, get those in there like that, in there like that, and then that goes like that. Zip it up, boom, done. Look at that. Everything I need to eat a meal and cook a meal, other than your cooking pan right here. How awesome is that? Now, this guy kind of goes with this guy, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. This guy is a 20-liter water tank. Now, you're thinking, water tank, whatever, not super cool. Well, this one is really cool because what sold the deal for me was this guy right here. Good old soap dispenser. I mean, and a scrubby. You know, one of the biggest things that I find when it comes to doing dishes at camp is finding the soap. Yeah, because you got to go hunt down the soap to wash the dishes, right? And then you're all full from eating a meal or whatever, or you just want to go hang out with the buds, or kids want to go back to playing. And because the soap is not in sight, dishes really don't get done, or it's a big hassle. So the fact that your soap container is literally on the side, it just clips in on the side of your water jug, I find absolutely fantastic, because now washing dishes, it's going to be so much more convenient. And for this guy, I really like it because it's got a nice big wide open lid for putting water in, and also it's got this little rubber breather right here, and I really like that. hasn't leaked on me when I was trying it out. Another thing that I really like is it's got a valve. That way you can monitor your water consumption a whole lot better, because when you got your kids going over to the water jugs and they gotta tip it or do whatever, water's getting wasted, having a valve on your water jug allows for a lot more controllability on how much water is being used. Now, what's exciting about both of these is I bought them off of Temu. Now you're thinking, oh, Temu. I paid, I think, no more than $30 for both of these. Yeah, that's awesome. So $30 for these two. I got my water, I got my kitchen, basically all my utensils and whatnot right here. How awesome is that? You add a stove and a pan, your kettle for water, done. Easy, compact, simple. Now, another thing for upgrades is this table. Yep, this table right here. Now, for the longest time, I have been using a simple little roll-up or compact aluminum table, and it's worked for many years just fine. The beauty about that table is that it rolls up, and when it's all completed, it's when it's all stowed away, it's no more than the size of a tent rolled up. So it makes that really, really convenient for storage wise. Now for this table, I didn't buy this table brand new. I actually bought this used from a friend. I got a really smoking deal on it. I think normal retail for one of these is over $200. And I mean, I think it was like closer to 300, and I gave him $100 for it, because he had multiples of them. So to me, it was worth spending the $100 on this table, and mainly there's two reasons why. One is the height. This one is proper height. It's got adjustable legs on it. It folds down really nicely. The height is the biggest thing. And then also, you can kind of see you've got a solid side, and then you've got a perforated side. And the perforated side is actually powder coated aluminum, and it's designed for cooking, so it ventilates the bottom of your stoves so you don't melt your tabletops, which is really nice, because I do have another stove that I use when I go out with my other vehicles and stuff, and so this I thought would be an absolute game changer for me when cooking and having the height having that height to work at is really, really nice. Now, for the longest time, I didn't even have that compact aluminum table. I just cooked off of my tailgate because I had a truck. Now, for the 4Runner, it's got a tailgate. Not all of them come with tailgates, but this one has a tailgate. So I mean, I cook off the back of my tailgate. So having a table's really, really nice. So these are the three upgrades that I got for the camping cooking setup for the budget build. There wasn't quite enough room for this guy with the other stuff, but also we've upgraded our cooler. Now, this may not look all that fancy, but what is very convenient about this It's 12 volt. It's 12 volt. It's a full-on fridge. Now, this is not the best out there, and actually I've got a fridge that I normally use back at home that's way better than this thing. But I'm not a fan of the ice anymore. I'm not. It's such a pain in the butt tracking down ice sometimes. And then also, if you're staged up somewhere beautiful and you want to be there for several days, I mean, what if you wanted to be in one spot for a week? You have to go in for ice. Maybe 3 days with a really, really good Yeti cooler. I don't know. I've never been I've never thought of purchasing a Yeti for the price, for how much money they want, because to me, I'd rather just go a little bit more and purchase a 12 volt fridge and never have to worry about ice ever again. Just my philosophy. But this guy, it's a fridge. It's a basic one. Picked this guy up on Marketplace for $100. So I haven't really tested it out yet. I mean, I did plug it in to make sure that it worked before before I bought it. But I haven't had a chance to really use it yet because I need to put a power source in the back of the 4Runner, and that is something that we're going to do down the road as an upgrade. But for now, I'm using it as a basic cooler because I can do that with this particular one. So I'm very excited because I hate ice. So this was another upgrade to the kitchen. All right, you are looking at all the recovery gear that I had for my last trip. And normally, this is all you need. Right here. And right here. And right here. These 4 items. This is pretty much all you need. Now, let's break it down and I'll show you what they are. These are pretty basic. I've got an axe. Now you're wondering, why do you got an axe, John, for recovery? Well, it's got a lot of uses. One, you got a hammer on this side. So if you need to hammer anything, you can hammer with this side depending on what style you get or whatnot. Also, if you got to cut down branches, sticks, logs, whatever, this turns into a survival gear, right? A piece of equipment right here for surviving. You can cut wood, get yourself, help you get unstuck by putting stuff underneath the tires. There's so many different things. A hammer, a chisel, if you got to chip away at some rock or something so you don't scratch the side of your vehicle, or there's so many things you could do with this, more than I could possibly think of currently right now. And also a shovel. A shovel is a must. And actually, I think pretty much all states require you to travel when going out in the woods with a shovel. And sometimes a bucket too. But a shovel is a definite must. Now, get yourself something pretty decent. I don't use the long handles. It's just hard to stow away in your vehicle. But get yourself a good heavy duty shovel and a usable shovel. When you got those little dinky things, it makes it hard to sometimes dig in the dirt or snow or mud or whatever. I like a good on garden shovel. You know, it's the right length, you can get some good leverage, you can move a lot of soil, you can move a lot of snow, you know, dig that hole for pooping kind of thing too. So a good shovel is a definite must when going out adventuring. So these two things set aside here. Those two, no matter where I go, are always with me, always. Another thing that goes with me no matter what is this bag right here. And so what I have in this bag is my recovery straps. So the beauty about this particular kit right here, I acquired it online and it wasn't that bad. So what do I have? I've got 2 soft shackles in this bag right here. Okay. Put those like that. Then I have this kit, also came with steel D-rings, because there's going to be some situations where the steel D-rings, you have to use these because you'll damage your soft shackles. So having an option for both is very, very nice. And I recommend having options for both. So I've got 2 of these steel D-rings. And then I have a toe strap, a recovery strap. Now, let's see what this thing's rated for, because they all should have their rating on them. Some of them don't. Okay, so this guy right here, oh, let's see here. Working load limit is 10,663 pounds. That is the safe working limit for yanking on this strap. Now, the maximum brake strength, this strap will fail just a little over 31,000 pounds, 31,500 pounds. So that's a lot. That is a lot. So having a very good recovery strap is very, very important. And I acquired this kit online. It was nice. So when I acquired this is from Rhino USA. I'm not sponsored. But I got the bag, I got the strap, and the 2 steel D-rings all as one in that bag. Now I went ahead and I got myself some soft shackles, and these are rated properly too. I added these to my kit because a good old soft shackle can get you a long ways. So these 3 items complete my recovery kit. Now if you got a winch, which down the road, we'll get to that, you're gonna acquire a few other things, but this right here will get you started. This is a good recovery kit. Now the one thing that is missing out of here that I do need to get, which again comes when you have a winch, is a tree saver. But if you don't have a winch, this right here, this is all you need. A good recovery strap, some soft shackles, and some D-rings. This guy never goes anywhere without me. I always take this with me. Now I do have a few extra D-rings that I threw in there a long time ago. Do I need them? Probably not, but they're in there. Okay, So, a good recovery bag, a good recovery strap, and the proper things to attach to a vehicle, absolute must. A shovel, absolute must. An axe, very good to have for survival. Now, another thing that I brought with me is this guy right here. This was this you don't have to have, but I do highly, highly recommend this. What is it? It is an air compressor. Yep. Oh, they really pack them in here, don't they? Oh. This is an air compressor. And I kind of stepped up to this guy, mainly for a few reasons. But with this guy right here, this is a bit overkill, but I just wanted to go this way. This is a twin cylinder air compressor. Now it comes with a hose, proper battery hookup clamps, which these are proper. You got nice good alligator clamps to go to the battery. And what I really like is it's got this, I think it's a Dean's or Anderson's plug, I believe is what they're called. Really nice, heavy duty. They can take the amperage load, because these things draw quite a bit of load when you get them fired up. Now, do you have to go this route? No, 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 no. No. This unit right here, I believe was a little less than $200 for this right here. And if you're just getting started, they sell a really nice Vi-Air little compressor. Comes with the same bag and everything, but it also kind of depends on what tire size your vehicle has factory and what tire size you foresee yourself going up to. For the longest time, I didn't have a big boy like this, and I got away just fine with it. It was a little slow airing up, but I still was able to air up. Now, why do I have an air compressor with me? Well, that's for one simple reason. It is for airing our tires down. Yep. Now, why do we air our tires down? Well, that is a very, very long discussion, and maybe I will break it down for you guys in another video for you. But basically, the quick version of it is, you're going to increase your traction and comfort with air down tires. And when you air down your tires, you got to be able to air them back up. There's not a gas station close by. You know, sometimes, yes, you may have to travel down the road a little bit to get to a gas station or air pump or whatever, but let's face it, for the most part, there's not a gas station close by for you to be able to air up your tires. So, having an air compressor with you gives you that ability to air down your tires for extra traction, a smoother ride. Also, you'll have less chances of damaging your tire, because with a softer tire, it's gonna mold over stuff. A hard tire is gonna just hit and bounce over, and you'll be more susceptible to punctures and flats and all sorts of stuff. So, big upgrade for the budget build. So yeah, this compressor, this bag and these two items right here is what I had on our last trip. And for the most part, it's pretty much everything that I needed, except for a few things, which we're going to talk about one of those right now. All right, it is time to talk about upgrades. Now, can you see the upgrade that I did to the 4Runner? Come on, you gotta see it. You see it? Tires! Yes, we got new tires on here. The tires that were on the vehicle, they were showing their age. Now they had lots of tread, but they were very old, very dry, and it was time to put some different tires on this vehicle. Now, there's a few reasons why I went with the tire size that I did, and I'll explain it here in a minute. But let's just start off with, what did I go with? Well, I went with the Geolander MT tires, the Yokohamas. I really like this tire. I had a set on the Tacoma, and they just performed really, really well. I actually had the same type of tire on Bandit for quite some time. I did a trip down to California with those tires, and all the pavement that we did, not bad actually. The road noise was pretty minimal. Traction was great. They handled the heat. Yeah, just a really good tire. I really, really like them. So I went with that. Also, they offered the tire size that I wanted, and this. So before I say what size I went with, let me break it down to you what the vehicle came factory with. So this 4Runner came factory with 31-inch tires, plus it also came with a factory tow package. And if I look up the VIN code on this 4Runner, it tells me that it came with 488 gears, 4.88, and that's awesome. In the Toyota world, you could only go up one step higher, and that's 529s. Now, I only went up to a 32-inch tall tire. Now, my reason why I only went one size bigger is there's a couple of reasons. One, they fit right now. I don't have to put a lift on. So that's a bonus. I get a little bit more ground clearance, which that's a bonus. And two, if I want to maintain the power and the towability of this vehicle, if I went bigger than one size, I would probably need to re-gear. Now, with the lift that I want to do on this 4Runner, I could clear a 33-inch tire, but with this gear ratio and the automatic transmission and all that stuff, I really wouldn't have my towing capability. I could run the 33s, but what if I wanted to tow a small trailer? Now, this vehicle is going to get heavier and heavier and heavier and heavier, so if I don't tow a trailer, potentially it's gonna actually kind of think that it is towing a trailer from all the additional weight that we're going to be putting onto this vehicle. So without getting into the big cost of re-gearing this vehicle, +1 is okay. And honestly, with a 32-inch tall tire, I went a lot of places on a 32-inch tall tire. That's what Bandit has. He's got a set of 32s on it and a 16-inch rim, and he goes a lot of places. So I really thought that this size would work really, really well for this vehicle. Now, it's a 32 by 11.5 R15, and I just kept it on the factory wheels. They're 15 by 8, I believe, or no, sorry, 15 by 7 inch wide aluminum wheels. And honestly, maybe a fresh coat of paint, but I think it looks good. You know, it's not a bad looking wheel, to be honest. Now, I could go with new wheels and all that stuff, but let's face it. I mean, these tires alone right here, oh, let's see here. For a set of 4, it was a little over $700 just in rubber. And then you go adding fancier rims and stuff like that, you're looking at a lot of money. Now remember, this is a budget build. The whole idea about this is just starting and getting out there. That's what we're trying to do. We can upgrade this down the road. For now, we're just trying to get ourselves a vehicle that we can get out there, do some adventuring, build our vehicle up to where it's going to be an awesome performing vehicle when we're all done. It'll get back into those places that we need to, but we don't need 35s, we don't need 37s, we don't need 40s, people. We don't need it. These will simply work. So, down the road, if I want to upgrade the wheels, I might. But honestly, I like that. That's a great look. Me personally. So, brand new tires for the 4Runner, which I'm excited for. That'll be great. So, awesome. Okay, now let me also talk about what the other upgrade was for the 4Runner. Well, you probably didn't think of this as the next upgrade. Traction boards. This is our next upgrade for the 4Runner, and also it goes with our recovery gear. Now, probably thinking, what the heck, John? A recovery board? Okay, so I'm going to explain to you why I went this way. Now, let's just kind of go back to our situation that we had on our last trip. If I had these recovery boards, I would have been able to continue up the hill. I know I would have. It would have given me, it would have sucked right underneath the tire, and it would have given me that extra traction that I needed to get up the hill. So, recovery boards, I feel like you're gonna use, I actually find myself using a recovery board a lot more often than a winch. Now, I am going to put a winch on here eventually, but that's a very big expense. In order to have a winch, you got to have a bumper. Or if you don't have a bumper, you got to do, like if you do the receiver hitch, either way, you got to fabricate the receiver hitch to go on the front, or you got to pay a shop to do it, right? And if you don't know how to weld, it's something that you don't want to first start off learning how to weld on. It's got to tie into the frame correctly. Your welds have got to be structurally sound. If you decide that you wanted to build a bumper, still, like, bumpers are things that have to be structurally sound. Your welds have got to be good, otherwise they'll get ripped right off of your vehicle. So either you got to pay somebody that knows how to weld, or you got to buy a bumper. Bumpers are expensive these days. Ugh, they're pricey. So by the time you get the cost of the winch plus the cost of the bumper, that's a huge expense. And again, if you're just starting out overlanding, this will get you out of so many situations. Where I live, out here in the High Plains Desert, there's not a lot of opportunities to winch to if you go out solo. Now, what's pretty interesting is I kind of look at a lot of the vehicles across seas, like over in Morocco, and they go out into the sand dunes of the Sahara Desert. They don't have winches. Some of them might, but there's actually quite a bit of vehicles in Africa that travel around without winches. I believe Expedition Overland just did a trip, their most recent trip up to Alaska, and I heard Clay Croft saying that they didn't have winches on their vehicles. But these guys will get you out of a lot of situations, So that's why I decided to go this route first. Now, like I said, yes, eventually we're gonna do a budget winch and a budget build on the bumper. But these, to start off with, is the way to go. Now, there's lots of them on the market. There's some cheap ones and there's some good ones. Honestly, my opinion, this is something that is well worth spending the high dollar on. Now, this is my reason why. Okay, these are Max Tracks. I bought 4 of them. They come in a set of 2. I got 4 Max Tracks, 1 for each tire, and I highly recommend that you get enough traction boards for 4 tires. These Max Tracks, they run almost $300 for 2. It's a lot of money. It really is. Now you're thinking, $600? Well, I could do this and I could... By the time you price out a bumper and a winch, you're going to be over that cost for the bumper winch combo. Plus, you're not going to be able to use that winch all the time. Only when you have the opportunity to recover or pull yourself to something. So, it's worth spending the higher dollar, and the reason behind it is because Max Tracks in particular, the material that they're designed out of, it's almost virtually impossible to destroy these. And Ronnie Dahl with Four Wheeling Australia, he did an awesome test with traction boards. He took one, buried it halfway down in the sand, and then he took his 70 series Land Cruiser and drove like full bore at one of these and planted the tire right on this. Just drove right over it, and I think he was doing like 45 miles an hour. It was pretty impressive. And these things, they bent and they snapped right back to almost being perfectly straight. That's pretty impressive. Also, another reason I recommend going with the Max Tracks, and I'm not sponsored, guys. This is straight out of my own pocket for these. The fact that the boards are indestructible, pretty much, or it's very, very, very hard to destroy them. The number one thing on these is the little nipples. These guys right here. Okay, these little guys right here is what the tires grip on and pull you out. Okay, well, if you happen to melt one of these, well, guess what? Drill yourself a small little hole and put in like a 1/4-20 bolt. Then the bolt becomes your traction nipple. Your board itself is good. Now you just put a steel insert in there, you're never going to ruin those. And it's never right here. It's usually out here when the tire grips is where it kind of melts off those little teeth. Now, I know a few people that didn't go this route, and I don't blame them, but all of their boards are busted. They're cracked out, they're broken, chunks are missing off of them, stuff like that. Now, kind of think of it this way too. Even going with a cheaper set of boards, being recovered once by those boards paid for themselves. Even if you gotta throw it away, it paid for itself because of the cost of having somebody come out and recover you. But if you break your boards and then you gotta throw them away, like that just sucks. You know, it's like, man, $150 and both my boards are busted and stuff, and it's like by the time you buy another set, you've already paid for these. So if you can't go this route, going with Max Tracks, that's perfectly fine. But this is a place that I highly recommend. Spend the money on the better boards. It will save you actually money in the long run. Well, these are the 2 upgrades that I did for the 4Runner. So, you know what that means. Now it's time to head out and go on another adventure with our upgraded kitchen and camping equipment, and with the upgrades to the vehicle. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching it. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, we'll see you guys out on the trail. Well, we're gonna have our budget build out for its next adventure to see what new direction we need to go with it.
For our first budget upgrades, the total came to $1,969. Still plenty of budget left for more upgrades down the road.